Britain, my homeland, the place where everyone looks like this, where conversations start and end with the word drizzle, and where people use impossibly brilliant words like chuffed, chinwag, and, well, brilliant. However, not all of the words on the internet's 400 billion lists of quaint British words are in fact British. Sure, they might sound like they fell from a Jane Austen novel, but occasionally their place of birth was closer to Dickinson than Dickens. Sometimes those quaint British words originated in the United States of America, and so here are 5 supposedly British words that did exactly that, complete with credible sources lest you accuse me of entry number 1. Along with phrases like top of the morning to you, itself of Irish origin and rarely used by the British, poppycock is one of those words Americans often assume is British, and to be fair, it couldn't sound more British if it tried. After all, the first half of the word sort of sounds like poppins, and is most definitely the name of a popular flower in Old Blighty. The second half of the word is a farmyard animal, you dirty little... But the fact remains that poppycock, meaning rubbish, baloney, a load of old bollocks, is first attested in American English from 1865. Thought to have entered English via Middle Dutch, it is found quite broadly in the writings of Charles Farrar Brown, better known as Artemus Ward. Indeed, in this American glossary from 1912, the following quote is entered for Ward himself. "You won't be able to find such another pack of poppycock gabblers as the present United States Congress." Some things never change, and speaking of politicians... In 2017, former London Mayor and, because this is the world we're living in, potential future Prime Minister Boris Johnson used the word Mugwump to describe the leader of the opposition. The word, meaning either great chief or politically independent, also crops up in the works of Roald Dahl and J.K. Rowling. It has to be British. Nope, American. Or should that be Native American? First attested from 1832, the sense of great chief comes from the Algonquian word Mugwump, while the word evolved later in the century to mean aloof from party politics when it was used to describe members of the Republican Party who refused to support their own presidential candidate, James G. Blaine, and sided instead with eventual winner Grover Cleveland, leaving the former feeling this. A favourite of distant words, discombobulated surely sounds like a word fit for Edmund Blackadder, with each syllable designed for his particular brand of phonetic delivery. But the word has its roots not in Britain, but in a land known well to one of Blackadder's greatest foes, Sir Walter Raleigh. You see, discombobulated was coined in the United States in 1834 and is relatively, though not completely, unknown outside of North America. Meaning confused or disorientated, the British rendering of disoriented, discombobulated came into being at a time when mock Latin coinages such as confusticate, absquatulate, spifflicate, and scrumplicate were dropping like rain across America. And speaking of rain... Bumbershoot, an American colleague of mine, recently used this word in an effort to engineer what to her was a British stereotype. She was under the impression that Bumbershoot was a commonly used British synonym for umbrella. After some rip-roaringly stellar research, known as reading this excellent post by Ben Yagoda, I found that A, my colleague was not alone in this belief, and B, the word is not a British synonym for umbrella and was definitely coined in the United States. As Yagoda himself mentions, it's easy to see why Americans might attribute the word to the British. After all, Britain is a rainy place. The words sound sort of Britishy, and along with brolly, we British are pretty generous with our umbrella synonyms. Moreover, the word is sung by Dick Van Dyke's English character in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and mistakenly affirmed by Daphne in Frasier as a word used by her people. Today it's also the name of a famous festival in the appropriately rainy city of Seattle, but it's mostly unheard of back home in Blighty. And while we're on the subject of B-words... For some reason, those lists of quaint British words also love to include this one, the bee's knees, meaning outstandingly good. First of all, as you can see from this Google engram, the phrase is by no means exclusively British, remaining alive and well in American English too. Indeed, it didn't just thrive in American English, it started there. Appearances of the phrase, such as this one in a September 1922 issue of AT&T's Long Lines magazine, were common by the early 1920s. This is because of a linguistic fad doing the rounds in American English at that time. In short, Americans were using animal characteristics to describe people or things that were excellent. Further examples of this fad, such as the cat's meow or the cat's pajamas, can still be heard in American English today. The canary's tusks and the flea's eyebrows, not so much. It all just goes to show that word etymology truly is the dog's bollocks. Thank you for watching this episode of Distant Words. Don't forget to hit my stupid little face to subscribe, and please share this video with the world. Hit me up on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook, and if you'd like to support this channel, please do so at patreon.com/lostinthepond.